Hey, what's up, Reefers? This is going to be a pretty long-winded instructional video for my tank sitter, who happens to be Sally. It's more like a reminder of what needs to be done while I'm away. So I will be going to LA and Taiwan pretty shortly for about 3 weeks, and in the meantime she's going to take care of my reef tanks as well as my YouTube channel. So she should be creating content, uploading them, so it'll be interesting. But I do want to share something with you guys. So I created a travel channel called Go Vagabond, and I have the link down in the description as well as at the end card. And I'm gonna share my journey with you guys in a vlog format. So if you enjoy seeing my vlog on my reef channel, I think you may enjoy it in my travel channel as well. So definitely, if you have a chance, check out Go Vagabond, and I'll be sharing a lot of updates on there as well. So let's get started. First of all, Sally, thanks for agreeing to help out and watch a tank for 3 weeks. So obviously we have the 45 gallon and the 15 gallon. So let's go over water really quickly, because like when you come to my house, I think the first thing you probably want to do is, if these guys are empty, go ahead and fill at least one of those guys up with our DI water. And that's time consuming. That's why I think that should be the first step. And you will go to the basement, to the dungeon where I keep all the girls, into the bathroom. Okay, like I explained, the red line is permanent, is fixed. The black line is a waistline. So as you turn this on, all the way on, you'll start making water. And immediately water will start coming out from the black line. That's wastewater going down to the drink. Don't worry about it. What you want is the water from the blue line. So put the water jug in here, put the blue water line inside, and just let it fill. It's probably going to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours to fill the 5 gallon jug. And one of my biggest issue is forgetting that I'm creating water and then just overflowing, wasted all this water. So one little thing that I do to help me remember is to leave this light on. Leave the door open and leave the light on while I'm creating water. So every time I walk by, I'm like, oh, light is on. Something's going on downstairs. Oh, that's right. I'm making water. So that's that. Now, since we were talking about making water, one likely scenario coming in is that you may hear beepings from either tank. And I'll explain what that is. By the way, this is how you turn on the light of the sump if it's not on. Okay, it's really blue right now. So if it's beeping, disconnect the bottom one and it'll stop beeping. Make the water, fill it up, right? Plug it back in, it'll beep 8 times and it'll reset. Now I had issue with this water, like kind of like just flooding. So when you plug it in, if the water's filling, just kind of sit here a little bit to make sure that it stops when it gets to the proper level. But it should be okay. Everything else should be okay. I mentioned that this return pipe, that's my biggest fear. If it come off, then water's going everywhere. It's not going to stop until everything is empty. So just kind of like move it slightly, push it in a little bit if necessary, but for the most part, just don't touch it. But that's my biggest fear right there. I had filter sock. I kind of pull it out before the trip, just so that you don't have to change it, because I think my battle load is pretty low, so we should be okay. Everything else should be pretty automatic, no worries. If anything is really odd, just give me a call. While I'm away, we are not going to dose calc. Just so this is just fresh water. You don't have to add anything to it. Just dump the water right into it with the funnel, which I'm going to show you later. All right, so that's this part. Adding fresh water to the 45. Let's hop over to 17 to the 17 gallon. Same deal here. Open this baby up. Put the funnel right here and just pour really carefully, because all the electronics right down there. So you don't want to spill it. Be really careful here. Drop the water in, and we should be good. Now, in terms of evaporation, I think this takes about 5 days. The 45 gallon tank takes about, I think, like 3 or 4 days. This evaporates a lot faster than the 17 gallon. Look at the water. The color is really weird. Let me restart this video. Alright, so while you have the ODI unit producing water downstairs, the next thing you want to do is probably just taking a look at the tank. Make sure nothing is toppled over. So in this tank, most of the things are glued down except for these 2 items, or 3 items. The frog spawn, the candy cane, and the torch. The torch, I may move it to the 45 gallons so it's a little bit more secure, but for the most part, it's pretty stable. The candy cane get knocked down maybe every other week by the turbo snail because it's not glued down. I'm not ready to put this coral on this rock, so it's not glued down. Same thing with the frog spawn. So whenever you see it on the ground, you can either reach in with your hand, or you can use this little thing to kind of reach in and grab it and move it back up. And right there are a lot of holes that will fit it. Just kind of put it in there and make sure that the bubble tip anemone is not touching it, and we're all good. And if you're in a rush, right, or just don't want to deal with it, just make sure that you can just leave it at the bottom, that's fine. Just make sure the fleshy part is facing the light, and it's all good. Same thing with the frog spawn. Now let's take a look at the 45 gallon tank in terms of livestock. Nothing really gets knocked over in this tank anymore. The only thing I can think of is maybe the blue tub, zoas, it may get kind of like flipped over. Just flip it back and everything should be good. You mentioned that you like the red Mandipora Capricornus, so here's my challenge to you. In the next few weeks, go ahead and pull this out and just frag off a piece, or just frag in tank if you want to. But be really careful because this is pretty fragile. You may end up breaking the entire colony. But I would say that piece right there would be a good candidate for fragging. That piece and maybe like that somewhere over here. But if you need help, you got a lot of subscribers and followers on Instagram, just tell them, or just like find a tutorial online, or just message me, you know, and we'll walk through it. I got all the gear on the table if you want to give fragging a try. And if the frag tray, if it's full, you can move some of the stuff onto the sand so you get room for up top for the new frags. So in terms of livestock, things toppling over, I think 45 gallons should be pretty bulletproof. That one, we got some loose pieces, so. Alright, so while the water is being created and you kind of took a look around at the 2 tanks, if everything looks okay, then it's time to feed the corals and fish. Go ahead and feed the fish every other time you come. So you're gonna come every 3 days, and so every other time you come, go ahead and feed the frozen, which we talked about before, so I'm not gonna repeat that, and you know exactly what to do. On the off days that you come that you don't feed the frozen, you can go ahead and feed the fish prime reef flakes, and then you can feed the fithead andro, the LPS food. And just a quick reminder, all the outer corals, if you don't feed them, totally fine. They can use the light. The fathead andro, the NPS, they have to eat. They do not get energy from the sun. So if you don't feed them, these guys are probably gonna shrink and eventually perish. So you will probably toss off maybe like that little container I showed you. Put out maybe like 20 pellets or something. Doesn't matter how many. Just let them sit in the water a little bit so they soften up a little bit, and then use a turkey baster to kind of blast them gently onto the reaching tentacles, and they'll grab it and just eat it. So in terms of feeding, the most crucial is the fathead andro, and then whenever you come to feed frozen food, go ahead and feed the sea anemones. So it's that one, those 2 big guys up here. Also feed the elegance coral. And if you want to really go for the gold, you can like feed the hammer, the Sunny D. That's a gold one with long tentacles. Those guys eat pretty aggressively as well. And fish will just grab whatever frozen food is the corals don't catch. And obviously on the off days, you feed flakes, and the fish will get the flake as well. So that's feeding. And general rule of thumb is that you rather feed less than more. So just be easy and it should be all good. Let's put this back. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, like, we went over a lot of these stuffs already, so this is mainly just like a reminder and almost like a checklist to make sure that everything is done. Oh yeah, also cleaning. In case you want to film, whether it's for the YouTube channel or for your Instagram, you can use MacFloat, which I showed you what to do. And just make sure you kind of rinse off the wet side. That's the side that goes in the tank a little bit, because I made the mistake of having some crap, whether it's like maybe sand or something, trapped between the float as well as the inside glass. So I actually got a lot of fine scratches here. The camera doesn't really pick it up, but it's there. So for this tank, you can use that. And for more stubborn stuff, like the Caroline algaes on this side, you can use the razor blade that's on the frag table. For this tank, it's an acrylic tank, so definitely do not use the same thing. You can use this one. It's a more pretty gentle pad. Just move the light to one side and just kind of like scrub the side. Just be careful when it gets onto the rock so you don't bang against the rock. And for the more stubborn stuff, and if you don't mind getting your hands wet, you can use the magic eraser to kind of go a little bit. And also, again, once you get here, just be really careful so you don't bump into these guys. And here's a fragging table. Everything you need is here, including a goggle, although you have your own already. Glue is here, frag plug is here, all the materials here if you want to give your hand on fragging. Like I mentioned, there's like loose powder floating around right now. There's some like loose Zoa's polyp because I added that power head, the flow increased, so some of the stuff got blasted off the rock. They didn't really quite stick too securely. So if you want to give it a try, you can kind of like use that little clamp, fish them out, and then glue them on the plug as well. Also, of course, the Monty cap corners. So just have fun, you know. Just have fun, whatever you want to do. Also, I showed you how to clean the detritus in case you want to film and want to make sure it looks clean. Just give it a good sucking, and then the liquid will come out, and everybody will be really happy. So, all good. Alright, that's pretty much it. The previous pump did not respond well to power outage. It always not start again. But I replaced the pump, so that should be reliable. And I added a power head as a backup as well, so we have two sources of water circulation. So I'm not too worried about power outage, as long as it comes back on pretty quickly. If it does not, then just give me a call and we'll figure something out. I think that's it. So yeah, to everybody else who's watching, thank you. Yeah, this is mainly for my tank sitter. So this video update probably doesn't make too much sense to you guys. But if you did watch it to this point, thank you. You guys are hardcore. And I really appreciate you watching my video. And again, I'm gonna put a lot more content on my travel channel, Go Vagabond. So definitely check that out as well. And if you know any good fish store or a good place to visit in LA as well as Taiwan, Taipei specifically, please let me know. I'll have a couple free days there, so I plan to hit up some like fish store or just like aquarium related stuff or destination. So, all right. With that said, I guess I'm gonna leave this channel to Sally for the next few weeks. This will be interesting, but I may still make some updates from Asia, depending on what I come across there. So, all right, guys. Take it easy, and I will be seeing you all.